सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीम् आपीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यमलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतिं सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम्. Jai Ma Lalitambika, Jai Gurudev. I bow down at the lotus feet of my gurus, and I bow down at the lotus feet of Ma Lalita, residing in the hearts of all the devotees and all my listeners. I pray to Adi Shankaracharya and Ma Lalita that may they bless me to speak on this subject of Soundarya Lahari. It appears very complicated many a times, but with their blessings, I will be able to explain it simply in simple words. And with their blessings, you will be able to understand also in the way they intend to make you understand. We have till now read up till shloka number 30th. Today I am going to read shloka number 31 to 41. From 31 to 41, it's called, it will be the end of Anand Lahari. Till 41 shloks was Anand Lahari, and Anand Lahari was little complex. It's little complex because it talks about Kundalini, it talks about mantra, it talks about Sri Yantra, it talks about mass form, the mass infinite, the omnipresent form, mass form, everything. I mean, it talks about a lot of things and a lot of little nuances are there. I have tried to share everything in simply the way I have understood it through my gurus, and things which are complicated, I have tried to avoid it. And in my experiences, whatever I have learned, that is what I'm trying to share. Let's go straight to shlok number 31 now. Chatushtya tantra hi sakalamati sandhaya bhuvanam स्थितिस्तत्तत् सिद्धि प्रसव परतंत्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धात् अखिल पुरुषार्थैक घटना स्वतंत्रं ते तंत्रं चितितल अवाति तरदिदम्. He says, O Ma, Lord Shiva, he first designed 64 tantras, but after that, he saw that people are caught in this whole web of desires, and their desires are never ending. Even if the 64 tantras were created, most of the tantras were giving them siddhis to fulfill all their desires. But the desires, one desire after another desire after another desire, it only puts them into a web of desires from which they can never come out. So, O Mother, at your request, at your instance, Twan Nirbandhat, you requested Shiva to create another Tantra. And that Tantra will specifically speak about your worship, about Sri Mata. And this Vidya is called Sri Vidya, and this is the 65th Tantra, which is independent of all other Tantras. This 65th Tantra, which includes a worship of Sri Mata in the form of Sri Yantra or in the form of internal worship, in the form of Kundalini, this Tantra is complete by itself. It can fulfill the desires of every human being, and as well as it can give them liberation, bhog and moksha, both together. Now here, when we are reading this shloka, first we should understand why tantras. We have so many Vedic literatures with us, so many ancient ways of worship were already existing. Then why is tantra created separately? Why did Shiva give this 64 tantras when Vedvyas has already given so much of Puranas and Upanishads were there, everything is there? The reason being, those Vedas that were created, it so happened that only Brahmanas were qualified to read Vedas. The caste system, the hierarchy in India, because of the hierarchy, the Brahmanas are the topmost, and then comes the warrior class, and then comes the business class, and then comes the lower class. So because of this caste system, it so happened that only Brahmanas were given the permission to learn Vedas, and the other schools also, the other caste, the other two lower in hierarchy, were also allowed to worship, to know about mantras and everything. But the lowest in this hierarchy, the lowest caste, was actually banned. They were banned even from entering the temples. Now, even though Lord Krishna, when he says in Bhagavad Gita that Chaturvarnam Maya Shrishta Gunakarma Vibhagashaha, that I created these four orders of the society, the Brahman, Kshatriya, the Shudras, the Vaishyas and the Shudras. But it is based on the qualities and the kind of work that they are doing. But what happened, that this whole system was being exploited. The Brahmanas thought they were superior, only they had the right to mantras, only they had the right to Vedas, they had the right, they were born gurus. But the lowest class, even the second class and the third, were also okay. They were also given the thread ceremony, everything was allowed to them too. But the lowest caste was the one which was suffering the most. They were not given all these benefits. Another thing is, in the other classes also, if somebody has have the habit of eating or drinking, because in nature, the evolution of every mankind is different, and some soul is born in some meat eating family right from the birth. That soul does not know meat eating is normal to him, or drinking is normal to him. For them, drinking and meat eating is not bad. The person who is born in a family with the whole, everybody eats and drinks, which is called tamasic. But for Vedas, or to proceed further in the field of spirituality, one of the biggest qualifications required is to leave all these tamasic foods, to leave non-veg, to leave meat eating, to leave intoxication. We have to stop those habits. So all those people who from their birth are eating and drinking because it is normal for them in their families, for them to get into this Vedic puja or the Vedic worship was very difficult. Very difficult. Because they were considered as not pure. They were impure. So they can't touch anything. But even if somebody is born in the lower caste, or even if somebody is, say, by birth eating and drinking and does not have a very pure mind, maybe as the so-called holier people, but does it disqualify them from worshipping mother, those who are in the lower caste? Don't they have a heart in which devotion is there? Don't they have a heart, the lower caste people, or the meat eaters, or the the people who are intoxicated, who consume liquor and all? Don't they have a heart? They also have a heart, and that heart also can love mother. That heart can also feel the devotion towards the supreme God. So saying that, oh, because you are impure, because your habits are impure, you are not allowed to worship God, it's a very bad thing that the Brahmins or the upper caste created in the society. So when the 64 tantras were created, there was one part of Tantra which is called Aghori Tantra, or Vamachar, the left-handed. In that, or Kolachar also, in Srividya there is Kolachar. This path included everyone. This path was open for everybody. You don't have to be a Brahmin, or you don't have to be a warrior caste, or you don't have to be anyone from the upper caste. You can be in the lowest strata of the society. You can be a dog eater. But even then, they were allowed, they were given initiation into this path, because everybody can worship Ma. Everybody belongs to Ma. On the soul level, we are part and parcel of Divine Mother. Nobody should be stopped. This is their birthright to worship Ma. Even if they may have hundreds of bad habits, so what? So what? Does a mother ever discard their children just because the child is bad? No, the mother works. The mother works to clean his child, doesn't she? If the child, say, if it goes in some mud and then comes home dirty, all smeared with mud, what will the mother do? The mother will get angry for some time and then give him a bath and clean him up, put some powder on him, and then make him fresh. Won't he? Won't she? So similarly, even if somebody has bad habits or bad thinking, their past must be very bad, but still they are all mother's child and they should all be given a chance to be purified. And in Tantra, everyone was included, not just Brahmanas. So Vedic system was there for Brahmanas, great. But Tantric system was opened up for everyone, and this was given by Lord Shiva himself. Another thing is desires. People have desires after desires after desires. Everybody has it. We are born human. We have to accept it. And humans have desires. In the other systems, in Bhakti especially, they will say, oh, if you have desires, you cannot get God. So either desire or God. That's how it was taught in the Bhakti school, whereby suppressing of desires was focused upon. But no, but Tantra thinks differently. We have come in this life and everybody has desires. One should know the method to fulfill these desires and yet not get caught up in this vortex of desires. They should be able to transcend beyond. That method, that system by which even if somebody is desiring, let their desires be fulfilled. And with their fulfilled desires, once the desires are fulfilled, this person will be ready enough to rise to the higher level. So Tantra was introduced for this too, that all your desires you can have, you can fulfill them, and then you can proceed further. Tantra actually means, if you ask me the definition, Tantra means technique. Technique. Tantra means a system. A system whereby mantras were employed, whereby yantras were used to fulfill your desire, not only a material desire, but to help you grow spiritually all the way up to liberation. This is the whole system. But what happened, as everything has a pros and cons, right? So this thing also had a con. What was that? A negative side to it. Tantra is very powerful. If somebody knows the techniques, you can actually capture somebody else's mind. This is called Vashikaran. You can hypnotize people. Sitting in far off places, you become very powerful, so you can play with people's mind. Or two people are there, then you can break them apart just by doing some tantric mantras. This is called Uchchatan. Then there was another thing, it is called Maran Prayog, whereby if somebody is your enemy, you can get them killed. All these different little things started coming up in Tantra, because Tantra is very powerful. So all these were the negatives of the Tantra, which was in Vamachar or the left-handed Tantra, and that's why Tantra got a bad name. Pure Tantra was lost. And people started relating tantrics to only this kind of black magic arts. That's all. Or witchcraft. They thought witchcraft is also a part of Tantra. But no, Tantra is beyond that. Tantra is beyond that. It was given, like Lalita Sahasranam, it was given by Haigreve, who is Vishnu's avatar. Haigreve is Vishnu's avatar. So this becomes Vaishnavi Shakti. Vishnu is pure, sattvic. So Sri Vidya is pure, sattvic. When mother saw this, that okay, the other 64 tantras are only misguiding people, are only deluding them, and is only putting them into further more troubles, because People are using tantras to fulfill their desires, but the desires can go to any extreme, like, oh, this person is my enemy. Then you go to a tantric who knows all this, and you tell them, oh, get him killed. And people do that, black arts, black magic. Ma and Shiva, they saw this. Oh, this was not why Tantra was made. This is not the intention. And on Ma's request, then Shiva came up with the 65th Tantra, Sri Vidya Tantra, which is the purest of the Tantra. And we don't use Sri Vidya for any sorts of black magic arts or witchcraft or anything. No. Sri Vidya, there is nothing mentioned. You read the Lalita Sasnam, one of the most beautiful poetries of Ma, only praising Ma. Read the Lalita Trishati, only praising Ma. See the Sri-Yantra worship. It is only worshipping her Devis. It is not to do anything wrong, to any harm to anybody. Other tantras, there were certain things by which you can harm the other person. But in Sri Vidya Tantra, you cannot harm anybody. You cannot play with others' minds. You cannot. If you do that, you will have to actually go to other tantras. So 65th Tantra, when Shankaracharya came, he was like the kind of the person who revived everything, as Tantra was getting its bad name, bad reputation because of all the other things, because of meat eating, intoxication being allowed, or maithun, which is called sex being allowed, certain things, which was misunderstood, completely grossly misunderstood. It was not the original meaning of it, but it was completely being misrepresented, misunderstood, and being practiced by people who didn't know anything about Tantra and doing wrong things from this. But when Shankaracharya came, he kind of revived it. Shankaracharya saw that the system is so pure and so strong, such a strong worship of Sri Mata. So he revived it back in the pure form that is called Samayachar. So sometimes when you see Shankaracharya, you go to Sringeri or you go to Kanchipuram or wherever Shankaracharya Matham is there Sri Vidya is worshipped. But Sri Vidya, when you see the worship, you see that it is done very purely. Pure food, not even when food is also offered to Ma, it is offered without onion and garlic. Because she has come from Hygriv, the Vaishnavi Shakti. So Sri Vidya is that pure. So here, when we practice Sri Vidya, so Shankaracharya revived the whole thing. And when you see the mantras and everything, you will find that this is completely Vedic. So sometimes people get confused. Oh, then why is it called Tantra? Because this is like a Vedic mantra. Yes, because the system, if you understand the system has three things in it. Tantric systems have three things. One is the external worship. In the other tantras, which is called Vamachar, or even in Sri Vidya, there is Kaulachar. Now understand one thing. When we see Kaulachar, it is very easy to point out, oh, these people are practicing meat eating, or you see any Bengali Brahmin, Brahmin, they're from Brahmin caste, but for them, fish is auspicious. They eat fish. So anybody who is a pure vegetarian will say, oh, this is wrong. They should not do that. We can judge. But depending on the areas where they came from, like some people were from the tribal areas, or Kaulachar mostly practiced in the snow areas, snow mountains of Kashmir and Himachal, in that area. So at that place, it is impossible to grow food. So probably when Devi worship started in those areas, people were probably tribal areas. They were living in hilly, snowy areas, and when it snows for 7 or 8 months of the year, you can't have fields or farms where you can grow your vegetables. So probably they were surviving on the meat. The meat also that was being eaten in earlier those days was not, you don't hunt. Basically, they were roadkills. So they were given a permission to survive on that, because in such areas where it's only snow, what will you do? Even in the coastal areas of Bengal, where you can't grow anything, the fish is the only food that you will survive on. So for those areas, or in the tribal areas where you can't grow anything, in those areas, people were already eating meat. It was in their blood. So When Tantra or Devi worship was introduced to such people, their purification is also necessary. Everybody's purification is necessary. How do you do them? So you tell them, okay, you want to eat all this meat, you want to really, then you must do it. You don't eat it for yourself. If you want to eat, sacrifice it in front of ma, offer it to her, and then you consume as prasad. It is only for purification process, not for anything else. I am I will mention an experience of my own life, because uh, I grew up in a tantric home, because my father, Swami Divya Chetnanand, who himself was an ardent devotee of Ma Bagla Mukhi, he established the Raj Rajeshwari Bagla Pita Ashram in Mira Road, Mumbai. I have learned Tantra right from the childhood, and because of him, I was exposed to many tantric saints and many tantric places. He used to take us to all those cemeteries and graveyards where we have done our sadhanas overnight. And I have seen all sorts of tantrics, so called. So once we went to Ujjain, and Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh, and Ujjain is a big tantric area. I was pretty young. I might be around 20, 21 years of old. And then at that time, at around 5 o'clock, we were near Bhartrari Gufa, and from there we went to Smashan area, and we were doing our sadhanas there. So I was meditating, and after the meditation, I got up, and this place, Smashan, when you go there, it is really scary. Smashan means a graveyard. It is very scary because you see all those tantrics, black dress and their beards grown, and in the evening they also drink. They're intoxicated, and you can see their eyes blood red. So you look at their form, and they will be stinking from far because they have not taken bath for days. So their whole look, the augurs or those who do the sadhana in the graveyards, when you look at them, it's like, where have you come? You just want to go away from there. But that's what Tantra teaches. You fear nobody. Everything is pure. Every place is pure. Every person is pure. You rise above from the impurities. Sit down and do your sadhana. That's how my dad was. Okay. So we sat down and were doing my sadhana. After some time, I opened my eyes, and there was this Baba sitting near me. He also opened his eyes. We were both meditating together. Then I looked at him, and he looks at me and smiles. And he's like, Ma Pranam. I'm like, I'm young, but he said, Ma Pranam. I'm like, okay, Pranam, Babaji. Then, then I just spoke to him something. And then I asked him a question. Babaji, I have a question in my head. I am also doing Devi Sadhana. You are also doing Devi Sadhana. We are both tantrics in so, but my Tantra Puja is so pure. I don't consume liquor. I don't eat meat. I don't do all those what you're doing. Why do you have to consume liquor and eat meat? And I know of the practices of Aghori. Why do you have to do that? He said, you are lucky. From childhood, you were sattvic. You don't have to go through anything in your life, so you don't know. But for me, I will tell you my story. I cannot comment about others why they have followed it, but my path, I will tell you why I did it. He said, when I was young, I was an alcoholic. I was completely tamasic in my thinking. Um, I was completely tamasic in my eating, and I was a heavy drinker. One day, under the influence of alcohol, I came home, and I saw my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, and my brother was not there at home. And at that moment, my mind thought lustily about my sister-in-law, and I ended up doing wrong thing, which I should have not done. But I was under the influence of alcohol. Next day, my sister-in-law told it to the entire family what happened, and then my entire family scolded me, and they threw me out of the house. It's okay, it was right that they threw me out of the house. I deserved punishment, but their throwing me out of the house was not a punishment. The bigger punishment was the guilty inside me, the guilty consciousness, my conscience killing me every day, feeling that guilt, that how can I do this to my sister-in-law. I stopped the alcohol, but the guilty feeling would not leave me. Then again, I would go back to the alcohol. And in that during that process, I wanted to come out of this. I went to many babas, many gurus, asking them, give me some solution, how I should repent for this. But it only happened that all these babas and all these Vedic priests, they only looked at me with bad. They looked at me as a bad person. They didn't like me at all. And in the end, going through all these people, like as if the whole society like disregarded me and completely thrown me out, I was very sad. I wanted to kill myself because I wanted to get rid of the feeling of guilt killing me inside. And at that time, I met my Aghori guru. He was in the smashan, he was in the graveyard, and looking at me, he called me and he said, "What happened? Why are you so sad?" And I told him my story, and then he said, "You should pray to Ma Kali. Only Ma Kali can cure you of the Rakt Bij inside you, the Rakt Bij demon." What is the Rakt Bij demon? Those demon of passion, of lusty passions and lusty desires for women. Only Ma Kali will be able to help you. So start this sadhana, and you are not leaving the graveyard and going anywhere in the public anymore. You're just going to sit here and you're going to do your sadhana. So in our Aghori sadhana, he knew how alcoholic I was. I could have easily gone back to the alcohol, but then in our Aghori sadhana, there is a way. They give us little, but we are sitting under the Guru's direction, and we only take that much. We cannot exceed that limit. And that's how I've been practicing my Kali sadhana for so long, to get rid of all the negativities that I'm storing for so many lifetimes. So that's my journey. That's what the Baba said. After hearing this story, I mean, it put me into a thought that, yeah, there are different kind of sadhakas. Some are very born lucky, sattvic. Some are very rajasic, in mode of passion, and some are in mode of ignorance. Their food habits are bad, their thinking are bad, everything about them is bad, but yet they also deserve to be purified. And who can do that? Lord Shiva can do it. And how did Lord Shiva do it? Lord Shiva made the tantras to include each and every person. So that is why tantras are so important. So this tantra, especially Sri Vidya Tantra, is a very, very pure tantra given by Ma Lalita to all of us. It has no side effects. It only brings goodness. It fulfills all your desires. At the same time, it gives you liberation. Now let us go to the next one. Shiva Shakti Kamaha Chitirath Ravi Shashita Kiranaha Smaro Hansa Shakraha Tadanu Chaparamar Harayaha Amirillekhabhi Tisribhi Avasaneshu Ghatita Bhajante Varnaste Tava Janani Namavayavatam. I will read the 32nd. This was the 32nd. I will read the 33rd also, because these two shlokas are Ma's mantra. Smaram yonim lakshmim tritayamaidam adau tava mano nidhaye ka nitye niravadhi mahabhoga rasika bhajanti tvam chinta mani guna nibaddhakshavalaya shivagno juvantah suribhigritdharahuti shanaihi. Now this one and the next one, as I told, 32nd and 33rd, these are indicating the mantras of Ma Lalita Tripura Sundari. There are two systems of mantra. One is the Hadi Vidya and one is the Kadi Vidya. The 32nd mantra, when people, I read a lot of translations, English translations also, but those English translations, they say, oh, this is the Panchadashakshari mantra, and it talks about Shiva, Shakti and all those things, which it does. But the Panchadashakshari mantra in the English translations that are available in the stores, they take the Kadi mantra. But the 32nd shloka is not Kadi mantra, rather it is the Hadi mantra. Now what is the Kadi mantra? The Kadi Mantra is the popular mantra on Google, which everybody knows. Ka e la ring, hasaka hala ring, sakala ring. This is ka. It starts with ka. Ka e la ring. What is the Hadi Mantra? Hadi Mantra was given by Lopamudra. Kadi Mantra was by his Agastya, and Hadi Mantra was given by Lopamudra. Hadi starts with ha. Same mantra, but it starts with ha. But there is a slight difference. What is the difference? Ha, sa, ka, la. There are three groups. Panchadashakshi means 15 syllables. In 15 syllables, there are three groups. So the first group will be ha, sa, ka, la. The second group is ha, sa, ka, ha, la. The third group is again sa, ka, la. So ha, sa, ka, la, ha, sa, ka, ha, la, sa, ka, la. And these three groups are joined in between by Reem mantra. So Reem, ha, sa, ka, la, ha, sa, ka, ha, la, Reem, sa, ka, la, Reem. So this is the Hadi mantra. So here it means the same thing. O mother, your mantra, the Panchadashakshari of 15 syllables, is divided into three groups and it is composed thus. In the first group, there is Shiva, Shaktihi, Kamaha, Chiti. So Shiva, when it says Shiva, the corresponding letter for that is Ha. Then Shakti, corresponding letter for that is Sa. And Kama, the corresponding letter that for is Ka. And then Chiti, the corresponding letter for that is La. Okay, so Ha, Sa, Ka, La. So this is what is given in this. Now, when you see the other Panchadashakshari and the translation, they will say, oh, Shiva is Ka, Shakti is A, like that. The meaning, I mean the Panchadashakshari, both meanings are right, but in this two shlokas, 30 second only denotes Hadi. That's the only difference. And it says in the second group, there is Ravi. Sheet Kirana means moon, Ravi is sun. Moon, Smara, god of love, and there is Hamsa, and there is Shakra. And in the third group, it says there is Para, Mara, and Hari. And all these are conjoined with the syllable Reem at the end of each group, and these letters are the body of your mantra. So 32nd corresponded to Hadi. The 33rd will correspond to Kadi. Even though it is not very clearly mentioned here, but there is a reason why there is an indirect mention here about the Kadi mantra. Why? I will tell you that. In the third mantra, it says, O eternal goddess, placing the three syllables. What are the three syllables? Smaram Yonim Lakshmim. Smaram means Klim. Yonim means Reem. Or Lakshmi means Shrim. If somebody places these three syllables before your mantra and they chant these mantras, they become very prosperous and very happy. They will get prosperity and happiness unbounded. Okay. And besides this, using these mantras, they offer oblations in the fire of Chidagni, fire of consciousness, with the ghees obtained from the cow's milk, repeating these mantras. So here there is one word, Nidhaye ke nitye, that there are some, okay, AK, some people, some kind of people who use your mantras and conjoin it with the syllables Klim, Reem, Shrim. And they do your mantras for what? They do your mantras to fulfill their desires. So in the previous mantra, it is not about desire. Previous mantra is, your mantra is this, and it is conjoined with Reem mantra. But in the next mantra, it says people do this mantra to fulfill their desires. So looking at Shankaracharya had no desires. There are three main desires which everybody wants to have. One is Putreshna. Putreshna means having kids. A yogi or a sannyasi also may not have kids, but he would want to have followers. That is putreshana too. Or dhaneshana. People want money. A yogi or sannyasi may not want money, but yes, sometimes he needs money to build ashrams and temples and all those things. And the third is lokeshana. That people should like you. People should say, oh, you're so great. Shankaracharya was beyond all this. He had no desire for any son or any number of followers. He had no desire for money. He had left his home in the childhood itself. And he had no desire for worship also, that people should worship him. He had seen it all. It was just coming. People were just following him even without him desiring. So a person who is free from all these things will not chant our popular mantra, which is popular in our world, the Ka E Ila, Kadi mantra, they don't chant. Ka E Ila is popular in our world because we are all desirous of obtaining things. We get attracted towards the Lalitama for this reason only, bhog and moksha together. That is the akarshan, that is the attraction. But in Hadi, no, you are only worshipping the mantra to feel the presence of Ma in your heart. So Shankaracharya was chanting Hadi mantra. For sannyasis, it is only Hadi mantra. Let us go to the 34th one now. Shariram tvam shambho shashimihiravakshoruhayugam tavatmanam manye bhagavati navatmanam anagham atha shesha sheshi yayam ubhaya sadharanataya sthitha shambandho vam samarasa parananda parayoho. It says, Oma, Lord Shiva is pervading everywhere as the form of consciousness. And you are also there with him everywhere in the form of Anand, transcendental bliss. In our lives, we don't experience that bliss every time. But say when you go in nature and you sit in nature and you meditate in nature, you see Ganga flowing or you see the mountains. Those places are blissful by themselves. What happens to you when you go there? You just forget everything. Is it not? So one is your consciousness becomes one with that consciousness which is blissful, and then you also feel blissful when you go to nature because of the presence of Shiva and Parvati. That Shiva and Shakti. So Shiva is in the form of consciousness, Shakti is in the form of bliss. And everywhere they are there, everywhere. That which is externally there, it is in us also. Now the same Shiva, it says Navatmana. What is that Navatmanam? In Navatmanam, actually, when we talk about Ma, we say we bring that whole energy in our Sri Yantra. And in the Sri Yantra, there are 9 triangles, 4 upward Shiva, 5 downward Shakti. So all these 9 together, they make 9 avaranas. In all the 9 avaranas, we see there is the presence of Ma and Shiva. All these 9 avaranas. There are Devatas and Devis, Bhairavs and Bhairavis. All these Devatas and Devis, Bhairavs and Bhairavis are the expansion of Shiva and Shakti. So in all these 9 avaranas, all these Devatas and Devis are the expansion of Shiva and Shakti, and this is called Navatmanam in the 9 avaran. So one explanation, and this is the easiest explanation to understand. Other explanation is there are 9 Shiva, there are 9 names of Shiva and 9 names of Ma. The 9 names will be 9 names of Ma is Vama, Jeshtha, Raudri, Ambika, Iksha, Gyan, Kriya, Shanti and Para. And similarly, there are other 9 names for Lord Shiva, which is Kala, Kula, Nama, Jnana, Chitta, Nad, Bindu, Kala, and Jiva. So these are the 9 names. So like that. Another interpretation of this shloka is, as I said, you can experience that the transcendental bliss through either Jnana, that Jnana Marg is Jnana or Dhyan is Shiva, and or you can understand and experience the transcendental bliss by your feelings and that is called bhakti, and that is Ma's own form. Now another one word comes here, Sheshi, and the word was Shesh and Sheshi. What does that mean? See, this world, when it is created, it came from Sachidanand. What is Shiva's body? Sachidanand, Shiva's form, transcendental bliss and consciousness. What is Ma's form? Transcendental bliss and consciousness. Both are Sachidanand, Sachidanand. And in this world also they are pervading everywhere as Sachidanand. When this world will be annihilated, everything goes away, nothing is there. In that time also, that Sachidanand, Shiva, and that Sachidanand Ma remains as it is. So that is called as Shesh and Sheshi. Whether everything is there, they are present, and even if there is no form, nothing, then also they are there. They are always there together. Consciousness and bliss. Consciousness and bliss. Always together. Pure consciousness, pure bliss. Pure consciousness, pure bliss. Pure consciousness, Shiva. Pure bliss, Ma. They are always there, whether in the beginning or in the middle or in the end of this creation. So this is what it means. Let us go to the next one. Now he is explaining what is Prakriti, where all Ma lives. Manastvam vyomantvam marudasi marutasarathirasi tvamapah tvam bhumi tvai parinatayam nahi param tvamevam swatmanam parinamayam mayatum vishwavapusha chidanandakaram Shiva Yuvati Bhavena Bibrishe. O mother, you are in the 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? O Shiva Yuvati, O maiden of Shiva. The 5 elements, and in the mind. You are in mind, you are in ether, you are in air, you are in water, in fire, in water and earth. And when you are transformed like this, there is nothing else but you. Tvai parinatayam nahi param. Whatever we see, any form you see, it is made out of this 5 things. And mana means, when it says mana means, mind means consciousness. So everything that you are seeing is made up of consciousness and this 5 element. Our whole body is made up of 5 elements. And our existence is because of the consciousness. Where is this consciousness concentrated? It comes from my heart, and then in the mind, and in the whole body is conscious, and we know we are alive. Sometimes if one part does not have the consciousness, we say, oh, that part is like dead, don't we? So whatever in the world you see is made up of these 5 things plus the consciousness, and beyond this there is nothing. And all these 5 things and the consciousness is nothing but the transformation of Ma. And to bring out this world, because it was the desire of Kameshwar, you along with Kameshwar Shiva do this work of bringing this whole creation into play. You are the magnificent universe of consciousness and bliss. So when we meditate, we have to meditate on Shiva and Shakti just like this. Baba and Ma, one is consciousness, one is bliss. Now what this has, this slok 35, now the continuation will go till 41. These are meditational sloks. These are for Antar Yag. As I explained in the beginning, there are 3 types of worship: external worship, internal worship, and there is a middle worship. So there are devotees who are in the lower level, or say beginner level. They just can't go straight inside and meditate. So for them, external worship is taught. But there are some devotees who are already very advanced. They can very easily meditate and get inside. For them, they can very well go to the internal worship. And there are devotees who are in between. So they can do both of them. So this in between is called Mishra Bhakti or Mishrachar. Okay. Now here, the next slokas are basically all internal worship and not external worship. I am not going to go much deep. I'll just take the name of those chakras and I will tell what the meditation is For those who are practicing meditation on chakras, they can use this as their meditational tool. Here one thing again. Okay, let me first read the shloka 36. Tavagya chakrastham tapana shashikoti dhyutidaram param shambhum vande parimilita parshvam parachita yamaradhyan bhaktya ravi shashi shuchi nama vishaye niraloke loke nivasati hi bhaloka bhuvane. O mother, Tav agya chakrastham tapana shashi koti dyutidaram. Tav agya chakrastham, those who worship in your agya chakra. Now listen to this. This is beautiful. It says, those who worship in your agya chakra, what they have to worship? They worship Lord Shiva and you together. Lord Shiva in the form of Parameshwara and Parashambhu, and you in the form of Parachiti or the transcendental consciousness. Those who meditate in Ma's Agya Chakra. Agya Chakra means here, not your own, Ma's. Okay? And they meditate in the Agya Chakra, Lord Shiva, who and you both are shining like brilliant suns and billions of suns and moons, and you are sitting on the left hand side of Devi, of Bhagwan. And those who worship him with great devotion, they reach the luminous world which is beyond the reach of the sun, moon and the fire. In the Gita, there comes a shloka in chapter 15 where Lord Krishna says, Yad na tad bhasate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. Lord Krishna says that one who reaches my abode. And how is his abode? He says, there, the sun, the moon, and the fire don't have to illuminate that abode at all. That abode is self-illuminated. That is my abode. And once anybody, if he reaches to that abode, he does not have to come back to this earth again. Same thing is mentioned here too. That anybody who meditates on Ma's Agya Chakra, on Lord Shiva, with you sitting on the left hand side, they, by meditating like this, they reach to that abode which is beyond the reach of the sun and the moon and the fire. That means they who meditate like this. But why is a meditation given like this? Meditate on Ma, not on yourself. Our Agya Chakra is here. Why we have to meditate on Ma? Now this is a technique given. In the beginning, it is very difficult for you to meditate here on your own. So you keep a picture of Ma and you look at Ma's third eye. And when you're looking at Ma's third eye, there you are seeing Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, and on the left hand side of Lord Shiva is Ma sitting together, and one is consciousness, one is bliss. And they are shining like billions of suns and moons. And after that meditation, you look at them with your eyes bright open for as long as you can, and then you take them and you close your eyes. You don't have to blink in the beginning, but once your eyes get tired, you close your eyes, and that image is stuck right here, and you keep looking at that image as long as you can. Increase this duration every day, and within few months you will see that the moment you close that eyes, only that image is coming, and slowly that image will go inside you fully, and there will be only one image remaining, and that will be the image of Mother. In fact, you will forget your own body, your own thing. It will be only Mother residing in you. Your body does not exist. It is Mother. Your Agya, your this center and Mother center has become one. Those who can meditate like this, they have reached the state of the Samadhi. And in Samadhi, if you leave your body, you reach to that place. Good place. It is called Sriman Nagar Naika. You reach to Ma's abode. And once you reach to Ma's abode, there the sun, moon, fire, nothing illuminates. That abode is self-illuminated. Those who can do practice like this in this world itself, they live like liberated beings. All right, let's go to the next one. So the 35th, as I told you, 35th, 36th, everything is connected. So first meditation of 35th was on the Agya Chakra. Now that Agya Chakra and this whole area is called Mana, area of Mana or area of consciousness. So meditating on that consciousness, okay, with brilliance of suns and moons. Now we go to the next meditation which comes here. Vishuddho. Vishuddho te shuddha spatika vishadam vyoma janakam Shivam seve devim api shiva samana vyavasitam yayokantya yantya shashikirana sarupya sarane vidhutantardvanta vilasati chakoriva jagati. I worship Lord Shiva in the Vishuddha. Who's Vishuddha? Ma's Vishuddha, Ma's throat. So in the beginning, you're only meditating on Ma's picture, and slowly the meditation has to go inside you. So from Bahiryag, from external worship to internal worship. When we meditate on the Vishuddha, we see that Lord Shiva is shining here as a crystal. And along with Lord Shiva, on the left hand side is Ma, who is also shining like crystal. And they are both equal in brilliance and in all respects. And because they are so brilliant, their brilliance is dispelling the darkness of the entire world. Basically, when you are meditating, the whole area is illuminated right now. It is dispelling your darkness also. And they both are so much in love with each other. Lord Shiva and Ma are so much in love with each other. They both appear like two moons and two chakora birds. A chakora bird is a bird which will not drink water unless it sees the moon. It has to drink water in that particular moon, in a particular constellation. And the chakora bird, when it looks at the moon, it just looks at the moon. It is always very attracted to the moon. So here, these are the two moons. And these are the only two chakora birds. So when you are meditating here, Lord Shiva and our Ma and Baba together, they are so much in love. Eternal bliss, eternal consciousness together, and two moons together, and two chakora birds looking at each other and enjoying the bliss through each other. And when we look at them, we are also feeling very blissful. And eventually, when the meditation starts becoming in your Vishuddhi, you are the most blissful person, you are the most happiest person. You become the chakora whose meditation does not go away from Shiva and Parvati, from Ma and Baba at all. That is the meditation here. Anybody who meditates like this is like liberation straight. Mukti Daini sadhana. Let us go to the 38 now. After this, we will come to the heart chakra. Okay. Samunmilan samved कमलमकरैन्दैकरसिकं भजेऽहं सद्वन्द्वं किमपि महतां मानसचरं यदालापादष्टा दशगुणितविद्यापरिणतिः यदा दत्ते दोषात् गुणमखिलं मदभ्यपय इव. Now we go to Mother's Anahat. Anahat means heart chakra. And there we meditate on two swans, white swans. A devotee is meditating on, so there is a lotus, 8-petal lotus, and in that 8-petal lotus, it is in this 8-petal lotus, Hanseshwar and Hanseshwari, who is Lord Shiva and Ma. Both are together. They appear so bright, so white, like that of a swan, and they are sitting on this lotus, and this lotus is in a lake called Manasarovar. Now what is that Manasarovar? That Manasarovar means the lake of pure, sublime, divine consciousness. So any devotee whose consciousness is pure, crystal clear, in their hearts there is this lake which is going everywhere in them, lake of consciousness, Manasarovar. And in that, Ma and Baba, in the form of Hansa, in the form of a swan, are just playing. And when these hansas, when these swans are talking, chirping, or they're talking, they can maybe making the noises. From their talking, all the 18 vidyas, all the 18 branches of knowledges is just coming out. So whatever knowledge you have, it is from this hansas. Any devotee meditating on the heart, on Hanseshwar, when again and again I'm saying Hanseshwar and Hanseshwari, because in the heart they are appearing like swans. Hans means swan. So Hanseshwar means Shiva, who is like a swan, and Hanseshwari means Shiva, Ma, who is like a swan. So like that. And anybody who meditates like this, he himself will then become like a swan. Meaning, a swan has a talent of separating water from milk. What is water? Water is the worldly things. What is milk? Milk is the spiritual things. Any devotee who meditates like this will be very easily able to detach himself, separate the worldly waters, all the evil, and only partake of the good things of the world. Such a devotee becomes a swan or a Paramaswan or the greatest Paramahansa. You become a Hansa and you become a Paramahansa or the greatest swan who has risen above the dualities of the world. All right, the next one. Now, after this meditation on the heart center, we meditated here. Param Shambhu Parachitti, we meditated here. Oh, this, okay, here God's name here is Vyomeshwar and Vyomeshwari. I forgot to mention that because this is the Akash or the ether, or it is called Vyom. So in the Vyom, it is called Vyomeshwar and Vyomeshwari. Here Hanseshwar and Hanseshwari. And then now we are going to the navel chakra. Shankaracharya, in all his this thing, he calls the navel chakra as Swadhisthana, and below that he calls Manipur. Though in our world we have reversed the order, but in Soundarya Lahari it is the same order. So we go with the Soundarya Lahari order. We come to the 39th shloka. Tava swadhisthane hutavaham adhisthaya niratam tamire samvaratam janani mahatim tam cha samahyam yada loke lokan dahati mahasi krodha kalite dayadrarya drishti shishiram upacharam rachayati. We meditate on the Swadhisthana, but there is a navel chakra of Ma. In the navel chakra, there is fire element, and there Lord is called as Samvart Agni Shiva, and she is called as Samaya. So we meditate on this two form where the Lord is burning hot, okay, because it's fire element, and she is the Samaya. So when a yogi, when a tapasvi or a sadhak is practicing tapasya, doing tapasya brings up heat. It generates energy. So because of the heat, the water element will start evaporating inside. And the water element evaporates. That navel area will become cloudy because it is evaporated. So, and the heat will go on generating, and then later on, when the heat goes beyond, Ma activates the Swadhisthana chakra. She'll be the lower chakra, and then by that, coolness will start flowing in the body of the sadhak. So this is a thing that goes on internally. I'm not able to put right words to explain to it. It's a matter of experience. So you will generate heat, but that heat cools off, and that energy that cools off, that heat of austerity, is called Samaya Devi. So in the navel chakra, we meditate on Samvart Agni Shiva, and he is called as Kameshwara, and we meditate on Samaya Devi, who is the Parashakti, while he is angry in the form of fire, ready to consume the whole world, but she is very graceful, and she bathes the whole world in her coolness. Now we go to the 40th slok from Manipur, from the navel chakra. We are going to the down chakra, which is called Swadhisthana, but Shankaracharya calls it Manipur. तटित्वन्तं शक्त्या तिमिरपरिपन्थी स्फुरणया स्फुरन्नानारत्ना परिणदेन्द्रधनुषम् तव श्यामं मेघं कमपि मणिपूरैकशरणं निषेवे वर्षन्तं हरमिहिरतृप्तं त्रिभुवनम. We meditate on the Swadhisthana, which Shankaracharya calls Manipur chakra. Here, he is called as Megheshwar and she is called as Saudamani. Here in this chakra, Megheshwar means like a dark cloud, bluish color Shiva. And she is like the lightning. So when you look at the dark cloud, or you look at Krishna's color and Radharani's color, Radharani is like the lightning shining bright and Krishna is blue. So here in the lower chakra, Manipur chakra, here they are in the form of the water element, but that water element is, Shiva is in the form of cloud and she is in the form of a thunderbolt or a lightning. Why she is in the form of lightning and not in the form of water? Because by austerity, what happens? The water is evaporated and only light remains. So this energy will start rising up. And then slowly we go to Mooladhara. From Mooladhara, the energy is rising, going up here. And then when it comes down, it settles down like this. So here, it says, I meditate. Now, this is a process of meditation and I am expecting all of you know Kundalini. That's why I'm not going too deep into it. But if the subject matter is too hard, you can always contact me, or maybe in future, if I have to explain deeply, let's see if I can make videos on that. All right. So in that chakra, basically Swadhisthana chakra or Manipura chakra, she is staying there as a consort. She's as a lightning and she goes in a zigzag manner. And while she goes like this, she's creating many rainbows here and bringing showers. Varshantam Tribhuvanam, bringing showers to the three world. Basically, bringing shower to the three world means our body itself is three world. Below the navel, it is the area of fire. From navel to heart is the area of sun. From sun to here is the area of moon. So this is the three world in our body. When we do lot of tapasya, austerity, we get heated up. Then all these three centers are cooled because of mother, because that chakra where water element is high gets activated, and when it activates like a lightning, and you see many colors and everything over there. Now let's go to the last slok for today. I know it is becoming a little complicated, but then this is Anand Lahari. It had a lot of things in it. Tavadhare mule सह समयया लास्य परया नवात्मानं मन्ये नवरस महातांडव नटम् उभाभ्यामेताभ्याम् उदय विधिम् उदिश्य दयया सनाताभ्यां जज्ञे जनक जननी मत जगदिदम्. Now we come to the Mool Aadhar, that is the lowest chakra in our body, where the spine ends. When you sit, the spine is giving us a support on the lowest part. That part is the Mooladhar chakra. Moola also means, Mooladhar means the world also has a base. Adhar means base, the base. Mool means the root or the base. So the world also has a Mooladhar, and the Mooladhar, that from where has this world come? The world has come because of the dancing of Ma and the dancing of Shiva. When Ma and Shiva dance happily, Shri brings out all the Shringar Ras or the conjugal love, and because of their conjugal love, the whole world comes into creation. And similarly, when Shiva dances the Tandava, the world ends. So the whole world is coming and going, and it is the dance of Ma and Shiva. She dances happily with conjugal love and he dances Tandava. And by that, Navatmanam is reflected in the Mool Adhara. Now, Navatmanam, first we discussed Navatmanam is the 9 Avaranas. That is a very small meaning to understand. The biggest meaning is Nava means new beginning. Nava. Navavarsh in Hindi we say. Naveen, new. New is Nava. New is Nava. So when Ma and Baba, they are happy, they are in love, they bring out new worlds. And every second there is a new happiness. Every second there is a new thing. There is new energy that is coming. And every second there is a new energy that is going. So every second there is a newness that is born. Why is it born? Because of the dance. Both the dances. One dances, something is dying. And because something is dying, something is coming. Or there is a transformation of things that is happening. Energy is getting transformed every second. Every second we are entering into a new time, aren't we? So the time that I spoke earlier has gone. Now I'm entering into a new time. So every second there is a newness happening. That newness is called Nav Atmanam. Atmanam means body, Atmanam means soul, Atmanam means consciousness. When we are meditating like this on Ma and Baba, every second our consciousness is evolving. Every second there is a new me which is being born. A new me. I am becoming renewed, regenerated. So I am their part and parcel. So they are bringing up newness. I am becoming new. That's the feeling. With that feeling, you meditate on Ma in your Mooladhara chakra. And there she is sitting as Samaya Devi, and he is called as Tandav Nateshwar, and she is Samaya Devi. And they together have come. Here it is written, Ubhabhyam etabhyam udevidim udishyadeya Sanatabhyam Jagye Janak Janani Mata. That is why they dance, they attract each other, they are in love with each other, and they have created millions of universe, and they are the father and mother of this universe. And because of their presence and their compassion, we always feel loved by them. So this was the end of Anand Lahari. These shlokas had a lot of information in them. Sometimes the thing became complex, but I tried to make it very simple. Still, if there is any questions, you can always ask me. The next session that we are going to start is Soundarya Lahari, which describes the beauty of Ma, and that's also going to be very, very beautiful. So stay tuned. Jai Ma, Jai Gurudev.